Welcome to an episode of the Critic Diaries, where we break down episodes of the Vampire Diaries. We are on to episode 8, and just when I'm getting closer to liking Damon, and then it just does a bait and switch. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's break it down. So, in this episode, there's a girl named Lexi, or rather, not girl, woman, and she's not human, vampire. She comes to Mystic Falls to celebrate Stefan's birthday. How old did Stefan turn? 165 years old. That's a lot of candles to put on a cake. Not that they do this in the episode. They don't do that. But yeah, so Lexi's in town to celebrate Stefan's birthday. They want to go to a party. Cool, gonna celebrate. And even though Elena and Stefan have broken up and they do not need to communicate to each other except for at school, you'd think she'd move on, but no. She goes to Stefan and Damon's house, and she sees Lexi. Lexi opens the door, and Elena does the typical rom-com thing where it's like, "Oh, who are you?" Yeah, I'm Lexi, and then she does the whole like, "Oh, there's a girl in the house. Stefan has already moved on." Her brain is already like that. I'm just like, Elena, it's been like 48 hours since you broke up with Stefan. It's not that. But Stefan then explains in the episode that they do have like a deep friendship between him and Lexi, so Elena has nothing to worry about. Not that she does, because again, they broke up. So there's literally nothing to. Okay. I kind of realized a few things in this episode. First off, in my previous video, when I said that I kind of gone from hating Damon to kind of like not liking him, but tolerating him, I'm sorry, I take that statement back, because from episode 8, I completely hate Damon. I hate Damon. Especially because of what he did to Lexi. And the second thing I realized is that I just don't like Elena. I love Nina Dobrev. Don't get me wrong. I saw Nina Dobrev first in Degrassi: The Next Generation. She enters around season 6, season 7. Love her in that show. She plays a young mother by the name of Mia. She plays a teen mom. And so she goes through a lot of issues with being a single mother. And she emotes. Like, she's really good in that series. But in Vampire Diaries, and again, this doesn't have to do with Nina Dobrev, but it has a lot to do with the character she plays. I'm trying to pinpoint a character trait for Elena, and I can't. Maybe I'm not concentrating enough. But I've noticed better character development in the other characters. And I know in the previous videos I've said, like, it's only been so and so episodes. Maybe I just need to be patient because she's the lead. And then I thought to myself this morning, she's the lead. She's supposed to arguably get a lot more character development compared to the other characters. I'm supposed to know more about Elena than I do about Stefan and Damon, for example. Yeah. Lexi arrives and she's instantly loved by me. I'm sorry, like, that girl made an entrance and I love her. And then they kill her at the end of the episode, and then I ask myself, like, what was the point? What was the point of introducing a really likable character to the show and then just like, yeah, we're just gonna get rid of her? I hated that so much. I could not stand it. okay, fine. I feel like I'm skipping ahead. But yes, Lexi dies at the end of this episode, and I feel like at least let her live. But nope, it was all part of Damon's plan, which is why I've gone back to hating Damon. I also don't like Elena, mostly because she's a blank slate. Um, but yeah, it's just why, why Lexi? Like, so okay. I feel like I'm jumbling things all over again. Let's go back near the beginning of the episode. So Alexi arrives. Why did I say Alexi? No, Lexi arrives in Mystic Falls, celebrates Stefan's birthday. They want to go to a party, whatever. And what I like about Lexi is the fact that she actually explains to Elena, like, you don't have to be mad at him. I know it's like a lot to take in. And she says that him telling her that he's a vampire is the first step. And ultimately, Elena gives Stefan more grace in this episode because of Lexi, which is why I love Lexi so much. Um, Lexi comes across as like a better version of Damon, if I have to be 100% honest. She tried to be on the whole animal diet, but she couldn't. So she explains to Stefan that she has a human supplier who's willing to give her blood. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's like you're a better version of Damon. Damon fans are gonna come at me when I say this. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's gonna take me a while, but I just at this point I don't think I'm gonna like Damon. I think I've made peace with that. I'm honestly having fun hating the character. I can at least admit that wholeheartedly. Um, because even when he did that one good deed for Elena, convincing Jeremy that Vicky has left town, then Elena goes to Damon and say like, "What did you tell Jeremy? What did you? He's not himself." And then Damon goes like, "I told him everything that you wanted me to tell him." Well, now he's not himself. He doesn't drink and he doesn't do drugs. And I'm thinking to myself, and like I know this is more of a reflection of how I feel about Elena, but I'm like, Elena, you had a problem with Jeremy doing those things. Now that he's clean and doing homework and literally being the ideal person that you want your baby brother to be, now that's not good enough. Still hate Damon though for doing that, but I hated Damon even more when he unalived Lexi. I will forever be angry about that. I don't care how many seasons the show is. I just at this point, me liking Damon is just the percentage, the chance, it just goes lower and lower and lower and lower. Okay, moving on. Bonnie and Caroline are in this episode. Yes, queens. So Bonnie says that the necklace, she has to give it back to Caroline. Caroline's been asking for it so that she can give it back to Damon. And her grandmother is like, no, you can't give this necklace away. It belongs to our family. It's our generations. And then Bonnie's like, well, why didn't you keep it? And Grams is like, the necklace found you. It belongs to you. And I was just like, yes. I'm here for it. Also, I forgot to mention in the previous episodes, but Grams is played by Jasmine Guy, and I love Jasmine Guy. She's a great actress. I love her, and she deserves more screen time. Right. Then we have Caroline and Damon. Damon is just asking for the necklace, and Caroline is trying this tactic of getting the necklace back from Bonnie. And Bonnie stands up for herself, and rightfully so, right? That's her necklace. I know the way she got it was like, oh, just keep it because, I don't like Damon right now. So just, keep it. Wear it, don't wear it. I don't care. That was Caroline's attitude towards it. But then all of a sudden, because Damon is pressurizing Caroline, Caroline goes to ask Bonnie for the necklace. And Bonnie's like, no, I'm keeping it. You gave it to me. I'm keeping it. And Caroline's response is, I didn't want to say this, but the necklace makes you fat. First off, Caroline, I liked you in the previous episode. Second of all, maybe I'm delusional. How can a necklace make someone look fat? Please, how can one single piece of jewelry wrongfully distribute someone's size? I was mad. I was like, seriously, Caroline, that's a mean girl tactic over there. If I didn't see that myself. But anyway, then she ends up drinking the night away. Matt finds her, and then it's like, oh, nobody loves me. Have you ever felt like no one loves you? And then she ends up lying in bed. She ends up going home with Matt. Nothing happens really. She just asks if he can hold her. And so he holds her. And I'm just like, yeah, the two of them are going to date. The two of them are going to date. Like, there's nothing that nothing else can happen unless the writers are like, yeah, we can't let this happen because Matt and Elena dated. So anyways, now let's get to what everyone was thinking. Where is Vicky? I wanted to say Victoria, as in Victoria from Twilight, but anyway. So the beginning of the episode, they actually focus on the investigation about Vicky. Matt is worried where she is, and so Caroline's mother is questioning Stefan. Who else? It's Stefan, Elena, Matt, and Jeremy about where Vicky's whereabouts are, and they still can't find her. We know what happened to Vicky. She's dead, like dead. But the townspeople don't know that. Speaking of the townspeople, we're gonna get to the part as to why Lexi is dead, and I hate Damon for this. Okay, so at this party, Lexi is with Stefan. Lexi convinces Elena, just give him grace, like, don't be so hard on him, that sort of thing. That works. And then Lexi and Damon are talking, and Lexi is like, why are you in Mystic Falls? And then Damon's like, oh, I have this whole diabolical plan. And Lexi's like, well, tell me. And then Damon literally says verbatim, it wouldn't be diabolical, would it now? Which, fine. So that happens. And then Damon attacks a couple at the same makeout point where Jeremy and Vicky were, and attacks the boyfriend, but then doesn't, try and do the whole mind control thing. And then when Caroline's mother goes into the bar at the, the party, she asks the victim's girlfriend, can you point as to who attacked? And she points in the direction where Lexi and Damon are talking. And so Caroline's mother, we're just going to call her Mrs. Forbes. So, okay, Miss Forbes. So Miss Forbes thinks that she's talking about Lexi. And so she attacks Lexi. They get them out of the bar. Stephanie's confused, like, what the heck is going on? And then, Lexi's going to be defensive. She's going to attack. She goes into full vampire mode. She starts attacking the cops and all of that. And when that happened, uh, because they use the wooden bullets and that's going to weaken her. Then Damon comes around and stabs her with a wooden knife. You see why I feel like I'm never going to like Damon? Because they introduce a great character and then the writers were like, nope. I hated the fact that this happened. And then when this happened, Stefan, rightfully so, passive Stefan that's like, no, we can't kill. We have to keep humans alive. He goes and he's like, I have to kill him. And I'm here like, ooh, the brothers are gonna fight. And Stefan makes a point that's really interesting, and that is he killed Zach. Now he killed the one of my closest friends, Lexi, because Lexi is older than both brothers. She's 350 years old. But she's been a consistent friend to Stefan. And Stefan really values their friendship. And now she's gone. And rightfully so, Stefan is not happy. So he goes to attack Damon. When I say that I was happy to see this fight happen and I was hoping Stefan would win. Through the roof. I was ecstatic. I was like, yes, a fight's gonna happen. This is gonna cause a rift between the two brothers. We're gonna see this in the upcoming episodes, that fight continue and stuff like that. So I was like, yes, this is going to happen. Again, I know I'm joking about the whole Lexi being off thing, dead. But I'm being 100% serious when I say I really liked Lexi. And I really thought that she was a breath of fresh air to introduce in the eighth episode of the series. It would have been really cool if she had to also pretend to be a high school student and join Mystic Falls. Or maybe she could have stayed at the house. For some reason, because of the dynamic between her and Damon, I literally thought, okay, she and Stefan are really good friends, but I don't know, like maybe I kind of shipped her with Damon. I would have wanted to see how that was going to be played out, but we will never know unless the writers decide to bring her back. Oh gosh. Oh yes. Before I finish off this episode, at the end of season 1, episode 8, we see Bonnie running through the woods. She's clearly running from something. She has this inner conflict. I also forgot to tell you that Bonnie expresses to Elena that she's a witch. This was another point that I was mad about that contributed to me not liking Elena. Oh, it's opening up this whole can of worms that I wanted to talk about. So Bonnie tells Elena that it's true, she's a witch, and she shows her powers and everything. It's supposed to be a secret, and Elena's like, "Why are you telling me if it's a secret?" And Bonnie is like, "Well, you're my best friend." And Bonnie even apologizes to Elena for being absent, and I'm here like, "No, that's not your fault. That's on Elena. Elena was busy focusing on her vampire boyfriend. That's not on you. That's not on you. That's on Elena, in my opinion." But anyway, and then I thought to myself, like, Elena is so happy that her friend is a witch, but has so much hatred towards Stefan. Okay, hatred's a bit of a strong word, but like I don't know, has negative emotions towards Stefan because of him revealing to her that he's a vampire. Make it make sense. Um, yeah, I don't know. I felt like maybe so. From my perspective, it was like, so you're okay with your best friend being a witch, but you're not okay with your ex-boyfriend being a vampire. Maybe I'm being very superficial in my opinion, but I mean, I was just like, that's very inconsistent for a character. I don't know. It's like Twilight. It's like if Bella loved the fact that Edward is a vampire, but hated the fact that Jacob was a werewolf. It doesn't make sense to me. Um, but yeah. Bonnie's running through the woods, and then at some point, she she has a vision, and it looks like this person is her ancestor because I recognize the actor who plays the great grandmother, and says you can't run away from this or you can't avoid this, and I'm just like, yes, we are gonna get more of Bonnie's story coming up. I'm so happy for that. So I'm looking forward to episode 9 at this point. I'll continue watching. I realize I'm going to have to end up doing over 100 of these videos talking about each episode of the Vampire Diaries, which I don't mind. I don't mind. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to ranting about bad episodes and gushing over good ones. So, yeah, I mean, so far, so good. I did not expect for this to be over 20 minutes long, but here we are. But thank you so much if you have come this far in the video. If you are someone that wants to have a recap of the previous episodes of the Vampire Diaries, you can just click up on the playlist on my profile. Be sure to subscribe if you are interested in film and television content, and be sure to turn on the notification bell. I post videos every single day. You know what that means? You don't miss a video on a day. So, thank you so much. And I forgot to do a question for the day. This will be my question. How did you feel about the unaliving of Lexi in this episode? Did you feel like she should have been a regular cast member, or did you feel like it was rightfully timed? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. But with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.